Fascism put it all on me.
That's exactly what we're getting for 2025.
Literally. Okay.
Do it.
Okay,
Now that we got that out.
Now that we got that out, welcome back to Homophonic, everybody. It is Zach, your host. We are joined once again with DJ John Michael.
What up?
We were just ranting about social media and social justice and maybe or maybe not ghosting, who knows. And
essentially this has become our therapy hour.
We needed to be a little therapy session because life has been crazy.
Life has been lifing, as the kids say.
Anyway,
a lot has happened.
Let's celebrate that. So, I mean, top of mind, Oscars just happened.
Yes, I have not, in full transparency, I did not watch the full broadcast, but I did make my way through the highlights.
I also didn't watch the full broadcast, and I missed, and I still haven't been able to watch the Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande full performance. I saw the snippets.
It's phenomenal.
And I was like, Cynthia Erivo, like, we all have been giving her flowers for a minute because she's incredible, but like, it's truly every time I see her sing, like, jaw-dropping.
I just haven't seen, like, I haven't figured out what she can't sing
right
at this point, like, because I've seen her be sort of plugged into all these different places, and I'm like, there's nothing that you don't do well. And this, like, just to hear her sing Home from The Wiz was like mind-blowing. She nailed it. It was so good.
Yeah.
But I love her. I love all the love for her.
Yeah. And so, like, I was able to see the snippets of her and Ariana singing. Her, the war cry sounded perfect. Like, just insane. I got into the Oscars after Adrian Brody won his Oscar and saw some of the technical awards, saw the costume. I think I tuned in right as they were giving out the costume design.
Oh, nice. I did see that one.
Yeah. So, like, Bowen was dressed as his character.
So good.
And that was it was so wonderful. I have to say, I was shocked. And in all of this too, after me bitching about not being able to sleep, I did fall asleep early last night. Mm-hmm. So I missed Best Actress and Best Picture. So I had to wake up this morning and find out who won. Mm-hmm. I was shocked that Demi Moore did not win.
I would think that Demi Moore was shocked that Demi Moore didn't win.
Was like, and I have to say, like, and this is no shade to Mikey Madison, because I've heard that her role in Anora is absolutely incredible, and I really want to see Anora. I have not seen it. But the way that this Oscar campaign and award season has been rolling out, correct me if I'm wrong, has Demi not won every single award
leading up to this?
Leading up to this? Like, I know that she won the SAG.
Yeah.
And I believe
she won the Golden Globe?
She won the Golden Globe. I think she won the BAFTA.
Uh-huh.
So, like, traditionally,
right,
the SAG award has kind of predicted the Oscar winner.
Right.
I don't know. But,
and
like,
Demi hasn't won an Oscar, right?
She's not. And I believe this is her first Oscar nomination.
That's crazy.
She has said in interviews, and I don't know, like, how factual this is, because I feel like I've seen her at award shows before, but she said that this is her first time being really nominated for anything for acting. And so, yeah, which is kind of crazy when you think about Demi Moore being, like, this, like, iconic actress. And,
right.
And her roles are just always so provocative, and she always just delivers such an incredible performance. So, yeah.
That's so insane to me.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, no disrespect to Mikey, but I just was the entire weekend I kept being like, oh, well, Demi's gonna get it. Like, she's gonna get the Best Actress. And I was like, Zoe Saldana is gonna get Best Supporting, which she did. She got Best Supporting Actress. I do have to say, and I saw another, like, I don't know if it was Twitter or something, but someone had mentioned that out of all of the wins for Amelia Perez, no one thanked or said anything about the trans community, and felt like just very on brand with the whole rollout of the movie.
I'm just, I haven't seen it because everybody that I've spoken to, like, whether it's the Mexican community or the trans community, both communities seem to be very upset by this.
Yeah.
And the clips that I have seen have been bizarre, which isn't a bad thing because there are bizarre like indie budget whatever musicals that I've seen that are sort of like a cult following, and maybe this will be that, although it doesn't seem to be, but I don't know. Like I think of like Hedwig and the Angry Inch or
Hmm.
Repo the Genetic Opera. Have you ever seen that?
No, I haven't.
Oh
No.
my god, it's the most bizarre thing you've ever seen. Sarah Brightman's in it, but so is Paris Hilton, and like it's Paul Sorvino, I think. Paul Sorvino? I feel like no, not Paul Sorvino. What's the guy? The guy from Buffy, Giles from Buffy.
Okay.
Not Anthony Michael Head. Is that his name? Maybe. Anyway, it's really ridiculous, and it's like a horror. If you're into horror movies, it's sort of bizarre, but I think you might like it.
Love.
Anyway,
And then you had messaged me and I didn't get back to you about Doja Cat.
you know what? I I don't want to be shady, but
Say
I
it.
feel like there there are so many people that are putting on this show, and I just maybe it's because of what I do at Peloton. I understand the chain of command when it comes to TV production,
Yeah.
but I don't understand. Like Shirley Bassey is an extremely specific singer in the way that she sings "Diamonds Are Forever," and it's like it's whatever. It's one of those iconic songs,
Yeah.
and you do kind of need a specific voice. This is not a shade at Doja's talent, but more like a why did you think that she was the one
Right.
to do this?
Well, it was very clear that there was some sort of deal done because it was her, Lisa, and Ray when they just released that song Born Again.
Right,
So clearly, so when it was first announced that they were performing, people were saying, "Oh, they're performing Born Again at the Oscars." And I was like, "They don't do that. Like they're not
right.
performing a random pop song at the Oscars for no reason." I was like, "What?" But so at first I thought it was just like misinformation being spread, and then it was confirmed that they were performing, but they were like, no, they're not performing their song. So clearly it's, I would still say it's probably in some sort of deal to help promote the fact that they have this song
Sure,
out.
sure.
But yeah,
I
it's not that it was necessarily bad, but it just was like when I saw her singing it, I was like, this felt more like a, like you're kind of doing an impression.
well, not even just an impression, but I feel like it's again, this isn't. I'm really not trying to shade her talent, but I feel like she wasn't set up to succeed,
Yeah,
and that
right.
I feel like there's a very large chain of command that would have had to approve this, including
Yeah,
herself, I would imagine.
yeah,
But it's just, and I'm sure, again, knowing the industry, there's probably so much that went on behind the scenes that we don't even know about.
right.
But it just felt a little strange that I was like, you really just sent this girl out here to just sort of like I don't know. Like it felt like she was struggling a little bit, and I felt bad for her. But it's a really difficult song to sing, like really difficult.
Yeah. I mean, Ray killed it. Killed her
I mean, but
Skyfall.
Ray is
Yeah. That like last note that she had, I was like, this
she's
girl is on a mission right now.
right, and I
Like
really hope she gets there because she is so deserving of all of the praise, and I
she,
feel like people sleep on her.
they do, and I'm so curious as to how and why that is because she is very much revered critically, like critically acclaimed. She won her seventh Brit. The Brits happened this weekend as well,
Right,
and we'll get to that in a second. But she, won her seventh Brit this weekend. She swept last year. She had excellent reviews for her performance at the Grammys this year. Was nominated for Best New Artist at the Grammy. I mean, she's the industry loves her as a songwriter. I mean, she's written
right.
several songs for Beyonce now,
Hmm.
but why she hasn't like broken through in the mainstream sense, or I don't know,
I don't know.
she's one of those artists where it feels like she's constantly has to prove herself.
Which I know I don't get, but I think it's just I don't know. Is it like a name? Is it a British thing? Is it I don't even know what it is because by all accounts it doesn't make sense. She's done enough things to her credit for
Yeah.
her to be a superstar. I feel
Sometimes I feel like when there's an artist that's really talented and multifaceted and can, kind of do different things with the genre, and they're known for being a singer but also a rapper but also a songwriter
right,
and a producer. Sometimes I feel like being that talented almost hurts you because I think that people in general, the people who are not like us,
right,
who are maybe the casual music fan, the average music listener, they need things to be in neat little categories
for
and neat
sure.
neat little pockets. So when you have an artist like Ray, or we can even, do more mainstream, someone like Beyonce or Madonna or Lady Gaga. And when they shapeshift and do all the different sounds and genres and try out different things or whatever, people are suddenly like, wait a minute, hold on.
Right, right.
So I wonder if that's it.
Probably. And I mean, it could possibly be that the things that she's done, whether it's being featured or as a songwriter, or even as a lead artist, I don't think that there has been, and I hate to say this, but I understand how marketing works. I feel like there hasn't been enough um, brand image consistency with her,
Sure.
that there's not much to even have a base for, like, who is this girl? What has she done? Like, there, I feel like that's still very much the question. And it's, I don't know. Like, I feel like with some of the other girls, like if they're in an era, you know that they're in an era, you're committed to the bit and we're doing the whole bit, and you
Yeah.
sort of go from each thing. But I think that the struggles that Ray has had with her label and with all of the other things that she's talked about openly,
Mm-hmm.
probably have something to do with that. So I feel like this hopefully is like the first time where it's like things are panning out, she's starting to take off, and that's it. And then we'll see that kind of as the albums go forward, because
Right.
everything before this I feel like was like weird label shit.
Right. Yeah. Well, it was also strange too because last year at the Brits, she had previewed Genesis
Hmm.
during her performance, but then the song didn't get released till months later. And it's stuff like that too. I mean, Chapel Roan is kind of did the same thing with The
Hmm.
Giver, where it's an interesting tactic. It's like, I don't know. It part of me gets it, and part of me is like, oh yeah, like definitely like, and I would maybe prefer that versus like the never ending TikTok and Instagram
Absolutely.
snippets. But at the same time, it's kind of like, oh, you tease the song, but then you wait 4 or 5 months to actually release it. So
Right.
then it's like,
But there's so many things that have to go into play for that,
yeah,
and it's like they have to submit and be in line to get their vinyl pressed, and that's got to be taken care of. And it's like there's so many. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like there's so many little things that end up adding time to a rollout when you start to figure out the logistics between all the moving pieces, and when you can schedule appearances on talk shows to promote or
true.
whatever. Like it's such a
I didn't think
long
about that
runway.
schedule, like the schedule of it all.
Right.
Get
And that's really what a lot of it comes down to. Sometimes, like, and Charlie actually spoke about it in her Brit Awards speech when she won for, what was it, Best New Artist? Best New Artist? No, Best Song of the Year. Song of the
song
Year.
of the year, yeah,
And she was like, we just sort of run and gunned it. We just really didn't. She's like, I asked her like 3 days before. She said yes. She's like, and it's really cool that she was able to do that because not a lot of musicians are able to sort of mobilize that quickly.
right,
But
yeah,
I think that a lot of this is sort of what happens. And they're just like, well, because the record labels now will be like, well, we'll do it on SNL and then it'll be like a long lead. And then
right,
that'll be like the buzz thing and we'll test the waters. And it's like all those sort of buzzwords.
yeah.
And then we'll come back to it and it'll be like a nice second wave or a nice, like they use like words like that to sort of justify. And I'm like, whatever, it is what it is. Just,
Yeah, yeah.
if
Uh,
there's some budget behind it, I'm happy to see it.
right, yeah. And I'm glad that you brought up the vinyl pressing of it all because I know that people were kind of were kind of gagged a little bit because Chapel's The Giver, which is still not out yet, but we're very
Right.
excited.
Right.
um but she did announce the vinyl single for it, but it's
Hmm.
not getting shipped until August,
Yep.
which is kind of strange to think about because one would assume that maybe the album will be out before then.
Nope. And it's all because, wait, let me tell you, because I had this with Rufus Du Sol and their last album. Let me see when it came out. Released October 2021, I
Uh-huh.
think. I want to say it was like a good 8 months that the vinyl arrived later.
Wow. Is it just
And I
because it's
was
so backed up with printing?
there's something like 4 or 5 in the world.
That makes sense because
Right.
for a long time,
There was just nobody
vinyls
was doing it. Right.
vinyls were pretty much obsolete.
Right. So
So,
nobody was really printing as many, so there wasn't that. There's starting to be more indie ones I think that are kind of coming up, but it's like, the bigger you are, or the smaller you are, you're sort of waiting in line, to
mhm.
sort of get your time, but
Yeah.
it's really kind of nuts. There's like one in the Czech Republic, I think there's one in Sri Lanka, there's one in like these random like countries throughout the world, but and of course I don't think we have any here in the US. Um
Oh,
but yeah.
fascinating.
So everybody's got to wait, like, and also like sometimes artists will move their albums back if they hear while they're planning that, oh, Adele's releasing something, I might pull this one
Right.
back. because
Yeah.
that's what happened. Like when she was releasing her last album, she jumped ahead in line and was just like, no, we need to have these records printed by Christmas. These
Yeah.
have to go out for Christmas.
And that
And
makes
so,
sense. And
and then that pushes everybody else back.
yeah, because they know that who's going to sell
Right.
Adele, who's going to
Right.
sell Taylor Swift. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Fascinating. Oh my
So, I mean, the
gosh.
logical thing would be like, hey, why don't we just build a record plant?
Right. What
You
one would
know?
think. One would
Right.
think.
Right. Hey, Universal Music Group, you have the money, as it turns out.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It would be kind of cool to bring that to, come on, American manufacturing. Let's bring that to the States. Come on.
What a concept.
Right.
What a concept.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. But, speaking of out of the country, we mentioned the Brits, and shout out to Charli XCX. I believe she swept her awards.
Incredible. As she should.
As she should. She looked amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I love a mesh moment. I did a mesh moment this weekend as well. But I loved her outfit. I loved that. I mean, she won. I know that for sure she won Best Song, Dance Act, Album. I know that she won 5 awards altogether. I don't know if she like swept every category that she was nominated for, but
I do not remember.
But I'm so happy that she won Album of the Year. Like,
oh, for sure.
That is so cool that she just, I don't know. And she mentioned in her speech that like the Brit like she doesn't always feel like she's accepted specifically in like British music.
Right.
And
which is crazy.
It is crazy.
Because she's so British to me.
Right. Yeah. Same.
Like, it's not even like she's just sort of like passing. Like, she's so British.
Yeah. And she's another artist too that I would say has to constantly prove herself time and time again.
Absolutely. Well, because here again, I feel like here in America, she was the girl that did the chorus of Fancy.
Right. Yeah. And then she was the girl that did boob clap.
Right. And that was it. And then for a little while, I feel like the Drop That Kitty was like the thing. And like I heard about that. But again, that's like 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
10 years ago. So, I mean, it literally took this girl a decade to kind of be this iconic. And here for it. Like,
yeah. Meanwhile, writing huge hits like Same Old Love for Selena Gomez. She wrote Senorita by Camila Cabello and Sean Desmond.
Shawn Mendes found dead.
Oh my gosh. Do you know who Sean Desmond is?
I feel like I do. Is he?
He was a Canadian pop star. I should say. Like, I believe he's still with us. And funny enough, that's so funny that was like a strange, what is that called? Like oh my God.
Freudian slip.
Freudian slip, because I was listening to one of his albums the other day.
Stop.
Because he had one, I think it was a self-titled album, or maybe it was called Let Go or something like that. Anyway, it came out in like 2005 and I was obsessed with it.
I want to ask everybody out there, and you can put it either in the comments of the video or whatever we post from this episode online, but would you be interested if we did an episode of all male pop stars?
Ooh, yeah.
Because I feel like that's something that we don't, and nobody ever really talks about. And there's so many that are good that I feel like don't get the flowers.
There are so many that are good. And you know what's really interesting? There has been like discourse on Twitter specifically regarding this about how there's quote unquote no good male pop stars.
Oh no.
And I hear what people are saying, and I think what it is the fact that, as we've talked about before, that female pop stars have to do it all, right?
Right.
They got to do the choreo. They got to do the hair. They got to do the makeup, the looks. They've got to do the theatrical production, right? Or if it's not a theatrical production, you have to be like Adele, and you have to have the huge voice, and
right.
And you still have a look, right? There's still a look regardless. Whereas a lot of male artists don't have to do all of that, and don't have to have like the dancing and the theatrical performances and the costumes and the eras of it all.
Right. No, I do definitely see that, but I feel like when I see people discuss male pop stars, it's either what the couple of things that I see is either that they're really not doing the most, which again, like Shawn Mendes, when I think of Shawn Mendes, was never like a pop star dancer. He's always been sort of like, with a guitar and doing her own thing.
Yeah.
But people want to see him looking handsome and sexy, and they love the little lift the shirt up, nipple slip, that sort of thing.
Slip
but
it.
then Right, but then it's like, "Oh, well, he's queer baiting." And I'm like, "Is he, or is he just hot?"
Right. Yeah.
Because you can just be hot, and it doesn't mean that you're queer baiting. Does he know who his audience is? I'm certain he does.
Yeah.
But again, I don't find that that's not queer baiting for me, because I don't think that there's malintent to
Right.
that. And I don't like that discussion.
Right. And especially specifically with him,
Right.
because his sexuality has been questioned time and time and time and time and time again,
Right.
to the point where I think recently he did say that at a concert, like, he's figuring it out like the rest of us.
Right.
And I think that there were some allegations then with him being like, oh, he's just queer baiting. But it's like, no, like, as you just said,
Right.
he's being accused of this constantly and being questioned constantly. And like the it's giving share moment, right?
Right. And I have to be honest, like I just thought that he was like an attractive kid or guy or whatever, man.
Yeah.
Because he always seems so young to me. But
Right. Yeah.
um he was just always like a good looking guy. And then when I saw that moment specifically with the It's Giving Share, and I was like, oh,
It's like,
oh,
maybe
oh, maybe,
I
maybe,
would
oh.
I would welcome it.
I mean, I see you at the parade. I'll see you at the parade. It's okay.
Yeah.
You
Right,
know,
right,
but
right.
right,
Yeah.
right,
No, but I remember like the first time people were kind of questioning it was like his mannerisms. Like, apparently like he did something with his hands. And I was like, okay, I was like,
the,
that's
right.
a bit
That's too
much.
far. That's too far.
Yeah, way too far. And there are a lot of men, and I don't even want to say that they're effeminate. I don't know. We could go into this whole discussion about masculinity and
Right.
femininity, because that's something that I have to deal with a lot.
Yeah, but
And
do I want my pop stars to be super masculine?
no.
Right. So that's what I mean. Like, and that's the so I had this discussion with one of the girls at my job, and we were talking about an very flamboyant pop singer, male pop singer, who
Uh-huh.
is gay. And I one of the girls was like, well, does the gay community like him? And I said, I said, it's funny. I
Mm.
said, because I said, for me, what I see with our community is that they're so fixated on masculinity, which I think is rooted in a need to survive.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what we all sort of do. Like, when we realize, like, if I've got to survive in this world, I'm going to butch it up. Like, what 18-year-old me look like and what this version of me look like are very, very different. And I
Mhm.
was like, I always say I didn't come out of the closet; it just burned down around me. And it's, I mean, really.
Yeah.
But you kind of like, I had gone through that and like had adapted masculinity. And for me, I had a friend at the time that was very, very flamboyant, and it would bother me. He was
Mhm.
doing nothing wrong.
Right.
He was doing everything right. I was the one with the problem.
Mhm.
And I was so nervous to be around somebody that flamboyant. And I feel like, so I told her, I said, what ends up happening is that you sort of, a lot of the community looks down on the members of the community that are more flamboyant,
Yeah.
because they don't like to acknowledge that part of themselves. And it's
Mhm.
a very, very weird thing. I said, and they do it too. I've seen people look at Sam Smith's comments on anything that he posts, anything
Yeah.
that they post. Sorry, excuse me.
Yeah.
It's a disaster. And it's like, I don't understand that. I really don't. But yeah. So I understand the whole male pop star, like, weird, like, not wanting to whatever, because no matter what you do, you can't win this game. Everybody's going to say you're queer baiting.
Right, right. And the thing is, I mean, like, so if you think about male pop stars, I mean, we have some of the greats like Michael Jackson,
Right.
George Michael,
Right.
um,
Elton.
Elton.
I call
You
her
have
Auntie Elton.
Auntie Elton,
Auntie Elton. I love her.
who Chaperone performed with
Love.
at his foundation over the Oscars party over the weekend, and
Yes. Love.
incredible, incredible. Um, who are some other big? Troye Sivan, I would say, is a
Right.
current one right now.
Ollie Alexander.
Yep. Oh,
Yeah.
I love Ali.
Yeah.
I
I still haven't made
love.
it through Polari. I need to listen to the album. I feel like I have to pay attention to this album.
There is a song, I think it's Archangel,
Mm.
that I'm obsessed with
Oh,
on
I'm excited.
that
Okay, good.
album. And it's one of those songs where, like, when I at first listened, I was like, oh, it's just okay. And then I like listened to it again and I was like, wait a minute, there's something really special in here. And it's going
Mm-hmm.
to be one of those songs now for the rest of my life where it's going to very much it's going to be one of my winter songs, where it's like not a Christmas song, but it will remind me of Christmas time. And yeah.
Oh, I have to listen.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, like Jake Shears.
Ugh, Love Jake.
Like his voice, his last album was so good, and I feel like it did not do anything like it should have.
I need to revisit it because I completely forgot that it was out. He does a duet with Kylie on it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And isn't it also like really mixed together? Like it like all the songs like
yeah,
are mixed into kind of like a confessions on a dance floor, if you
yeah.
will, or
Because it's supposed to be like a party. Yeah, I just love him, and I just And
yeah.
there's so many. I mean, obviously we talk about Z all the time and Bentley, but there are
Mhm.
really good male pop stars out there. They don't even have to be gay per se,
Yeah.
but not that I can really think of any straight male pop stars that I really love. Well, I guess Usher.
Usher.
Although I don't know if I hate calling him a pop star.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, what is a pop star,
Right,
right?
right.
This is like, what I talked about with my brother on the episode with my brother is like, what is pop music? Like, what is, and I kind of have a similar thing. It's like it's even Sean Mendes does pop music and definitely has leaned more pop in certain songs and certain albums, but I think of him as more of like a maybe not rock per se, but like
That
it's like
indie folk singer, pop folk.
yeah, more
It's
in
like
that line. We
Jason Mraz adjacent.
Yeah, because I think that when we say pop star, we are thinking of people who are doing straight up like pop dance music
Yes,
for the most part,
absolutely. Yes.
right? Which is why it's always so funny when I hear people talking about like a main pop girly
Right.
and they will like throw Lana Del Rey in there.
Or the pop star Alicia Keys. I'm like,
Right.
I don't know.
And I'm like, I guess kinda,
Sure.
but like even like Beyonce. Like
Right.
Beyonce is, I mean, obviously one of the biggest pop stars in the world, but I don't know. There's something about, I don't know. I don't want to say it's bigger than pop, but it's
But it
like,
is. It
it's,
is in some ways
it's,
because
yeah. Or is it the, like all encompassing? What am I trying to say? Like, is it the definition of pop? Because you
right.
are kind of creating the trends and creating the culture, kind of like Madonna,
Right. But I
right?
mean, pop is to be popular. Like that's what it means. But at the same time, like I don't feel like that has the same connotation anymore. Because when I think of a pop star, I think of a Britney Spears. I think of Christina Aguilera. Like they're pop stars. Like yes, does Christina do more? But she's still a pop star to me.
Yeah. It would
You
be
know?
interesting to ask people, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear the word pop star?
Oh, I
Like,
like this.
yeah, like what's the first thing that comes to mind? Because I asked my brother this on his episode. I was like, what's the first thing that you think of when you hear the word pop song?
Hmm.
So what's the first thing that you think of when you think of pop star?
Max Martin.
King of pop.
Right.
Current reigning king of pop. Happy
Right.
belated birthday,
Happy belated birthday.
Mr. Max Martin.
A
Seriously.
Pisces.
Yeah.
I mean, a man
Mm,
after my own heart. A fellow
love.
Pisces. But
Yeah.
I mean, but that's what I think of because like he he has done not just pop music, but
Hmm.
almost all of his music has been popular,
Yeah.
and it's I don't know, like it's the there's drama in a pop star's music for me.
Hmm.
You
Oh,
know, like when I
absolutely.
right, like and that's why like Shawn Mendes to me, I don't calling him a pop star feels strange because like if your concert is 90% you and the guitar with a band, like
Hmm.
that's not necessarily pop music to me in the way that I think about it. Again, these are all
Right.
relative to anybody.
No, this is
But
science.
right, this is gay science.
This is
What's
gay
his face?
science.
This is gay science is
Yeah,
what
Rob
this is.
Anderson. This is, oh my
Right.
God, this would be Rob, if you steal this from us, I
Right.
will
I
hunt you
will
down.
absolutely because look, you want to do it, we will give you all the facts that you need.
Exactly.
But
All the facts
it
and
like
all the fags.
right, right.
Yeah.
But there is something about that, and I think it's sort of like there's an infrastructure with pop music, and I think every decade has its own with the producers that sort of come along with it.
And you make a great point with Max Martin because he has defined several different decades with
Right.
his music. I mean, I just put together that like birthday post for him, which I felt like such an idiot. There were two typos in it, and
Oh no,
and that took me forever to
I
make.
believe it.
Oh my God. Anyway. So like I felt like absolute shit, but I was like, whatever, I'm not taking it down. But I mean like 90s Max Martin, right? You've got Backstreet
Right.
Boys, Britney,
Robin
um
S. I mean Robin.
Robin, you've got In Sync, that like very like late 90s teen pop sound.
Right.
And then again in like 2005 to like 2007 with like the pop rock sound with like Kelly
Bon Jovi.
Clarkson, Bon Jovi, Pink, the
Right.
Veronicas.
Hmm.
And then it morphed again into like a dance pop sound in the 2010s with, again, Britney and Katy Perry and Taylor Swift and
Is there Kesha? No, Kesha was Dr. Luke.
There was a couple Kesha songs though.
There are, yeah.
I think he's a co-producer on Blow.
Oh yes.
And then it morphed again with as he kind of was doing stuff with Taylor, and then he kind of, I don't know, it's like his sound almost kind of took on that minimalist sound in a way with Taylor's music and then Ariana Grande's music. And
on the Adele track.
Yep, on Adele. Yep.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, he kind of goes all over the place. He knows he's the king of hooks, king of melodies. And I loved how you said that there's drama, because with the key changes that he does and the huge choruses that he does and the way that he's the reason why Justin Timberlake sang May and It's Gonna Be May.
Right.
Me.
Right.
Yeah. Like he's the reason why these singers will bend their words in those ways. I forget who it was. He received some sort of songwriters award. I want to say this is maybe close to 10 years ago now, but someone had mentioned that he uses the voice and kind of views the voice like an instrument.
1000%. And I feel like you can tell that the most in the Femme Fatale album.
Yes, absolutely.
Like beyond like that. I mean, Blackout was too in a different way, but that to me is a producer's record.
Yeah.
Like it's a Britney album, but that is a Max Martin album.
Yeah. Oh my God. Talk about a legend.
I mean, I will go down on record any day saying that Femme Fatale is her best album for me.
I love that. It's so good.
It's so good.
It really is.
Yeah. I mean, Blackout is Blackout, but it's that one for me that's the one that when I think of Britney, I always go to that album first.
Yeah. I think Z Machine agrees with you. I don't
probably.
Z's going to be on the show soon. We'll ask him when he's on. Because I want to say that he and I have talked about that before. Yeah, I mean, incredible. I don't know what else to say. Like, I just, every time I listen to his songs, it takes me down memory lane. And he has so many good deep cuts too. Like, the man has 78. You're hearing this right, everyone. He has produced 78 top 10 singles in the U.S. spanning from 1997 to last year, 2024.
Right.
That is
so crazy.
So, but I mean, he's got a bunch of songs too that people don't really know. And you know what? I heard one of them yesterday because I was at the Dunes Resort in Saugatuck, Michigan, which is a gay resort.
Love.
Did my first drag queen bingo for the first time. It was so fun.
It's so fun.
I'm broke. Didn't win a single game.
Right.
But that's okay. But they played Time Machine by Robin.
That's the one I was waiting to bring up.
Mm-hmm. And I was like,
one of his best, one of her best.
It's so good. And talk about, it goes right back to that, like that late early 2000s, early 2010s, like as he started getting into like more dance music vibes. And
I specifically remember, I don't remember the outlet, but I remember watching something on when they were talking on the news, was talking about her album, or was talking about Hold It Against Me, and when the break happens in the video where it's like the whole like dance break and she's like fighting herself or whatever, and people were like, Max Martin brings dubstep to Britney Spears, and I'm like, I don't know if that's it. I was like, I don't know if that's dubstep, so to speak. I was like, I get what you're saying. It's you know,
it's dubstep.
It's Temu dubstep.
Exactly. It's dubstep light.
Right.
And, but still, I mean,
iconic.
I would say that song also, I mean, it also has trance elements to it as well.
For sure. It's all around that album.
Yeah. And so, I mean, and apparently he was like in a punk band before like he became a producer.
I mean, sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But it's so cool to see how much of and you know what song I love that he produced and co-wrote? People kind of give it shit now, and I get it. I get why people don't like it and don't like this singer, but I personally love it, and every time I hear it, it brings me joy. Is Can't Stop the Feeling.
You know what? It's It's music to shop in Zara too.
And
It's
it sure is.
it
And cut to me being one of those gays that's always walking, you know?
right. No, absolutely. And look, I can't deny it. I mean, when you think of the Trolls movie, like it is iconic in that way. But that song and Pink's Never Not Gonna Dance Again are like the A and B side of the same coin.
Yeah, yeah. And I have to say that particular Pink song is not my favorite Pink song. Because here's the thing too, is that whenever I make this post, because I do this annual birthday post for Max Martin, there are certain people who will kind of drag him for being very generic. And I'm like,
That nothing could be further from the truth.
nothing. I was like, he creates the sound that becomes generic.
Right.
So I was like, you think it's generic because every other producer under the sun is trying to recreate his melodies and his hooks for the next 3 to 5 years. But he is the one that kind of conceptualizes it and comes up with it and puts it out first.
Right.
You know what? Another Max Martin song that I love that a lot of people hate that I love.
What?
Or give shit, I should say. Raise Your Glass by Pink.
I love that song.
I love it too.
It's cheesy, but I do like that one. I prefer that over Fucking Perfect.
Oh, I love them both.
I like them. I mean, they're very, very different songs, but like thematically, like, you know, because Pink has that sort of like can-do spirit in her songs.
Yeah. When she became soccer mom Pink.
Right.
Yeah. And so
I'm here for that though.
Yeah. Which, like, side note, I really want her to do the Super Bowl. Just manifesting
it would be good.
I think it would be perfect because I feel like she's one of those artists that like everyone, first of all, she's pop's underdog.
Right.
And she's one of those artists that people kind of quote unquote forget about. But then you like look at the catalog and
it's
everyone loves them and everyone knows the songs.
The I'm Not Dead album, I cannot even tell you the obsession that I had with that.
Yeah.
That album was, oh my God.
It's
Conversations with my 13-year-old self. Thank you for the drama at the end, Pink. I love
Right?
But even like the Funhouse album, so good. Oh, so I could do a whole episode just about Pink. Love Pink.
Love Pink.
Love
But we can credit Max Martin for kind of bringing her back into the limelight after, because she had a lull. She had a flop era with what was it? Try This. Yeah.
I don't even. God is a DJ and out.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I love God as a DJ.
Same.
Immortalized in Mean Girls. Thank God. But she, I mean, when she came out with this album, Stupid Girls was the lead single, which did moderately okay.
Right.
But then Who Knew is what started blowing up on the radio. And oh no, actually that's a lie. Who Knew was released as the follow-up and it initially flopped. And then she released You in Your Hand. That's what blew up.
Yes.
And then they re-released Who Knew and then it became a hit.
Because that video, You in Your Hand, phenomenal. One of her best videos.
Yes. So good. And I love Pink with red hair.
Oh, so good. Yeah.
Whenever she goes red, or like she also went like kind of like she did like kind of a black red thing in the Just Like a Pill video.
Yeah.
Pink with red hair is one of my kinks, I think.
Right. And she's one of those artists who live that like it doesn't even matter. Like if you think you're not going to know any, I mean, you're going to know the songs, but I don't think people realize how much fun you will have at one of her shows.
Yeah.
I've gotten to see her once and it was phenomenal.
I've never had the opportunity to see her, but I have several of her concerts on DVD because DVDs are still relevant in my house, even though I don't have a DVD player. But they're some of my favorites. Like she puts on such a good show, like her Live at Wembley's DVD.
So good.
I mean, when she does Fingers, oh my God. Like insane.
And she's another one. Like I want the duet from her and Gaga. I feel like those are the voices I want together. Like imagine
wonderful.
them like tearing apart like a Led Zeppelin or tearing apart like just something that's like I don't know. I just feel like they both have that grit in their voice that would be so good together. Like put them together and give me an album of heart music. Like do heart covers. Give me Magic Man. Give me oh my God.
That would be
kill. That would be incredible.
That would be insane. Oh my gosh, you're welcome. Ideas, people.
I'm just saying, like Pink, friend of the pod.
Our friend of the pod, Pink, Alicia Moore. That would be amazing. What was I gonna say? Oh, it's funny that you bring up Gaga because as soon as you said that, my brain immediately went to what was it? The 2010 Grammys where she sang Glitter in the Air, and Gaga had her debut performance at the Grammys as well. And I remember someone talking about like trying to compare both artists and trying to be like, Gaga needs all the costumes and stuff to like be big, and all Pink needs to do is sing and whatnot. And I'm like, but they're both theatrical in different ways.
Right.
And again, talk about two huge pop stars who do it so differently.
Right.
You know, Pink is, you know, flying all over the place in some contraption, doing God knows what, doing her silks.
Right.
You have Gaga in her costumes,
playing her piano
with her feet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but both are doing it excellent, and there's room for both.
Well, and that's it. Like, I just posted before we started recording this, part of the acapella from Ring the Alarm. And I just posted like the last minute of it, the last 60 seconds of the song, which are just ridiculous. And I'm like, not only is this woman, has her mic been on this entire time, but she's doing all the lead vocals and all the backing vocals as well, and the layers, and it's like all her, except like, you know, you get the guys in there going rah rah whatever. Everything else is her.
Whoa,
like, right? And it's so good, and I'm like, but there are so few artists that really do that.
Yeah,
you know. So it's like I don't know. Like if you go and you listen to the acapella for Ring the Alarm, and I'm like, who's gonna be able to do that? Like, there's not many people who could actually do that.
And you don't really think of Ring the Alarm as being a song like that where it would have a lot of vocal layering. Right. You
but
know,
it's
like,
insane.
Yeah, I know. I didn't hear that acapella until you had posted it. And when I heard that, I was like, whoa.
And there's like other parts in there too that I was like, oh my goodness. Like yeah. So I mean, that to me is a pop star.
Speaking of pop stars and big vocals, at the Brit Awards, Jade performed Angel of My Dreams. Did you get a chance to watch it yet?
I loved it.
Oh my God. That is what I want. Like, she knows her fan base.
Right.
She knows, and she knows what they want. That is an award show performance.
Right.
Like, to me, that is Gaga paparazzi VMA level of award show performance.
Oh, for sure.
Like, it was 5 acts. It was predominantly Angel of My Dreams, and she incorporated a little bit of my girl, It Girl.
And you know what? And let me tell you, when it happened, you were the first person I thought
of. I was like, I am the It Girl. Like, just like, oh my God. I was obsessed. But it was so good. And in everything from the theatrics of it all, like she did, 3 different costume changes, wig changes. She like fell out of a trap door. She flew. They put angel wings on her. I mean,
that last moment.
Oh my God. The Brits put money into their award shows.
Right.
Grammys, take note.
I'm saying, like, but it was like, that was a performance. Like, and you know that shit had to be rehearsed several times.
And she was giving us vocals. She slightly remixed the song. I mean, like, it was just, that's what I want. That's what I want in an award show performance. And she also won Best Pop Act.
And deservedly so. I wasn't sure if she was going to win.
Yeah.
To be honest, but she did, and she gave a great speech, and I'm just like, so, and it was nice to see everybody happy for her.
Yeah, well, except seemingly we can't confirm, but that, I forget her, was it Lola Young?
Right.
Which I know who she is. I have not heard her song. I know that her song Messy, I think, is #1 in the UK right now.
I know the song. I haven't listened to the album yet.
She's kind of giving me who's the
Gail.
young...
She reminds me of Gail.
Yes,
that's exactly what I thought.
That's exactly. Oh my God, I was like, she's giving me the ABCDFU, whatever that song was. That was a moment in time.
Right. Oh, for sure.
That was.
And then she also somebody who has written music for so many other people.
Really?
Yeah.
Gail?
I can't think of it. Yeah, I can't think of it on the top of my head right now, but she's written like a bunch of things for them. Maybe it's Olivia Rodrigo. I don't remember. I'm probably getting that wrong. But she's co-written a few things for some big people.
Go off, Gail.
Yeah.
Wow. And then, okay, so like now we're fine. We got there, folks. We're getting to all the things that we were going to cover.
Sorry.
There was, this shocked me. Well, I shouldn't say it shocked me because I liked her last project. But Rebecca Black's new EP, Salvation.
Let's talk about it.
It's phenomenal.
It really is.
I loved Trust that came out of what was that, last summer, last fallish
Yeah.
sometime.
I was obsessed, and the music video was phenomenal.
Music video is so good. The song's incredible, absolute banger. And then she put out Sugar Water Cyanide, which I liked, but I saw that it was going to be part of this EP, so I intentionally knew, because it was like, it's like what, 6 or 7 songs.
Yeah.
So I was like, I am going to save this till it comes out, because what will happen is I will get into these 2 songs and play them to death, and then I won't be as excited about the EP.
Right.
I'm glad I did that, because this EP, like, the title track Salvation.
I was gonna say the opener is so good.
It's so good. The music video, I mean, again,
I haven't watched it yet. I still have to watch.
If you loved Trust, you're gonna love this one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she is delivering like mini movies with these videos,
and I love this for her.
Me too.
What a redemption arc.
What a salvation.
Right.
Like, come on. Tell me if I'm taking crazy pills, or maybe it's just her anniversary. But does the song Salvation itself, did it give you any sort of ray of light? Like, feels specifically the bridge of the song,
right? I was
not not the song Ray of Light, but just the Ray of Light project as a whole.
Right. I think that there's what's the one? Is it's not Skin? Skin. It reminds me a little bit like the under of it.
Yeah.
It sort of has the same type of like
yeah.
Like it has that same sort of like feel. I see what you're saying.
There was something in it that I was like, it's not that it sounds like it, but there's something in here that's making it bubble for me. Anyway, right. Incredible.
And I'm so happy for her. And girl, whatever you are doing, just keep doing it.
Keep doing it. I listened to it during my workout on Friday, just kind of on repeat, to be completely honest. The closing track, Twist the Knife, also, yeah. I mean, a straight up club banger. So good. American Doll. I love. Tears in My Pocket. Tears in My Pocket, I think, was maybe no, I was going to say it was my least favorite, but like, honestly, like, all of these songs are so different.
Right.
They're songs you can dance to, but there's a lot of like feeling in her music.
Well, what I like about it is the project to me in general feels very like was like MTV Diary. You think you know, but you have no idea.
Literally.
It gives me that sort of vibe. Like anything, like you've heard my name, anything that you know about me from however many years ago, from whatever song.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you who I actually am. And it's just sort of like literally leaving it all on the floor. And I love it.
It's so, I love this for her, because I mean, she was such a joke for such a long time, and probably to some people she still is,
right?
Because of Friday. What people fail to realize is that Friday came out when she was 13. I think she 13. Said that I was watching an interview with her and Trixie, and I think that she said that she recorded it when she was 12 and it came out when she was 13. And no one treated her like she was a 13-year-old.
No.
Everyone treated her like she was a 25-year-old adult. And she really had to prove herself. I mean, going back to this, like, someone that has to prove themselves time and time again.
Notice how it's always women.
Always women.
It's always never men.
Women. Literally.
Right.
Literally. But her last project, I thought, was really good. I likened it to like a love child between Charli XCX, Carly Rae Jepsen, and there was a third. Caroline Polachek.
Absolutely.
That was how her last album was to me. But this project, she's definitely leaning into her queer side, leaning into like dance pop of it all, club. Definitely taking notes from Charli. I have no notes. Like, perfect EP. Like, right. I was, and I say I was shocked because, again, I probably from my own, like, we don't take her seriously as an artist. Mm-hmm. So to you, Ms. Rebecca Black, I apologize, because you are incredible. Her voice is also amazing on this.
Just saying, like, the work has been done.
Yeah. And proof that you don't, because this is one of my biggest pet peeves. I understand the love and desire for big vocalists, and don't get me wrong, I appreciate talented singers and people who can, you know, do the vocal gymnastics. And I think it's beautiful and it's wonderful. And I love that. There's so many singers and I love that. Right.
Right.
I don't think that every singer has to be able to do that in order to be considered a good singer.
Absolutely not.
And again, talk about that conversation. It is only done with women.
Only, but it's been like this forever because they did the same thing to like artists like Stacey Q in the 80s. She was
Mm-hmm.
just a fluffy little pop girl, and in many ways she was, but Two of Hearts, We Connect are literally two of the most iconic 80s songs, and it's like I don't know, like it was just it's again, it's only women. Like you would have to go through so much to sort of prove yourself, and I'm like, what is the point? Like there's so much room for everybody, but I feel like that's an
Yeah.
old way of thinking where
Yeah.
like you couldn't have that many doing it at that level at the same time.
Yeah.
And now it feels like so much more democratized in many ways not, but also like when I hear this Rebecca Black project, it sounds like freedom for her. And I
Yes.
feel like that is what makes a really good pop project.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
like everything about this, I'm like, I am so rooting for you.
I'm so rooting for her. And I maybe this is like extremely wishful thinking. I really want this to get a Grammy nomination.
Oh
I
God, that would be so phenomenal.
I would be I don't know if it would be up for album. I think it might be a little too short for album because it's only 7 tracks and it's 21 minutes. I think that there is like a time. I
Mm.
think there has to be like a minimum, but
Oh, probably.
but maybe she'll put out a deluxe or something. I don't know, but like this is a phenomenal project, and I'm so excited to see what what she
Right.
does next. Like wow, it's so good.
It is so good. I'm really again. I get very very happy for her. So
Yeah, so good. And then another project that came out was the new Melanie C single.
girl, it is so good.
Oh my god, so good.
Like and seriously, like Anna Luneau. Like I don't know if she produced it or if she. I think she might have. She probably did because I think she's the lead artist on it.
And I had never heard of her before.
Oh, what's the big song by her that I know? She had a few songs. She's been featured on a bunch of things that I feel like she was somebody that I came across in the very early days of Peloton, like in 2014, when I
Mm.
started getting into more of like the more I don't want to say mainstream EDM, but just like EDM type music to put in a fitness class.
Oh
Anyway,
sure.
but the way that it's not a sample, but it sounds like the synths in the back, like the 90s synths sound like they're from Inner City's Good Life. Let me take you
Oh
to the place I know you wanna go. It's a good life. That
yes,
whole bit,
I
but
hear
like
that.
dun 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 dun, dun, like it's that same type of sound to me, and I mean,
It's
what could you say about Melanie's voice? It's so good.
She's phenomenal. She
Always.
really is. She does not get her flowers. I mean, I know that everyone loves Northern Star and it's an incredible album, but like
There are so many others.
she has so many others. Her last album is really really great, and this single just like continues to prove that she's just getting better with age.
Oh, beyond. And I'm
And
actually I'm saving my songs we don't talk about enough. I'm going to use one of hers
ooh, I
for
love
later.
that.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, because yeah, I when I saw I think that they announced the song was coming out like maybe the day before, or at least I saw the announcement the day before. I welcome surprise.
I
Like
I don't recall the last time she's put something out where I've been like, "Meh." I just love it.
yeah. Yeah, there was an album. This is like we're probably looking at like 10 plus years ago. I want to say maybe it was The Reason that was kind of like
That
for me.
I think out of all of them, that's probably the one that I would agree with you on the most.
Yeah,
And
but
it's now I got to look. Like what
but I
was the
love her dance music era, and I
Think
hope it
About It?
continues.
Her that song Think About It by her. Do you know that one?
Is that from the last album?
It's from no, it's from this has got to be like 2011.
No, I don't know this one.
Oh my god, it's like a bop, an absolute bop. It was just a random. So she put out my favorite album, my favorite solo album of her is from 2011. So like this is all like again the femme fatale era when all this is happening.
Yeah.
The Sea is the name of the album.
Okay, I think it was The Sea and The Reason are the like the two albums. Like it's not that I wasn't interested, but there wasn't much noise about them, so that I just kind of got lost in the
No,
shuffle.
totally. Because that was the album after Northern Star was the reason, and then the other one was Beautiful Intentions.
Got it.
Got
Okay.
Next Best Superstar. I love that song. Oh my god.
Yes.
Now I'm gonna fall
Yes.
down a Melanie C rabbit hole tonight.
Right. Oh my gosh. A sea hole, if you
I
will.
see it, right? I love her so much.
Ah, that's so good. But you said Think About It is the bop.
Think About It is an absolute bop. If you have not heard it, you have to hear it. You would love it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm so here for her like dance music era, and I love that she's DJing. I mean, she did an
Yes.
incredible remix for oh my god, I'm blanking on her name, Jessie Ware. For
Yes.
Free Yourself that I
Mhm.
absolutely loved. Like when I saw that it was like Melanie C remix, I was like, okay.
Right.
And it is fire.
Mhm.
Give me more Melanie C remixes, please.
I need to see her as a DJ. I would be so excited, like when she does these sets in the UK or like she does the festivals, and I'm like, oh, that's what I want to see so
That
bad.
would be so much fun.
Right.
That would be so much fun. She did like during the pandemic was doing like, like live DJ sets on Instagram and stuff just
Mhm.
for, to keep people entertained. And one of my favorite things that she did was she played a mashup between her Spice Girls Who Do You Think You Are and Nirvana's Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Work.
And it worked perfectly.
That is wild.
Right. Like talk about polar opposite songs.
Right.
And I was just like, this is brilliant.
Wow.
Yeah. I'll have to like, I'm sure that there's someone posted this stream somewhere because it's when you hear it, you're like, whoa. Like
right.
that if I heard that at a club, I would just go off.
Right. I'm like, now I'm in my head, I'm like, maybe I could recreate that. Let me see.
No, literally.
Right.
Yeah. Please do, because we all need it. We all need it. Or Melanie, so just please put it out.
Please put it out.
Please put it out. I'm sure the licensing is so cheap.
So cheap. Nirvana, historically very cheap.
Historically, Nirvana, very, very cheap. But I mean, again, like 2025 in a lot of ways is not very exciting, but music-wise?
But I feel like that's what ends up happening.
Yeah.
And this is a very heavy anniversary year.
It is.
Because we're about to do, well, I know that there's one we want to talk about, but it's also 25 years of Oops, I Did It Again.
That's nuts.
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy. I mean, it's crazy. I remember Oops, I Did It Again. I remember the music video premiering on TRL. I remember like the hype. And okay, correct me if I'm wrong. Did it not feel like an eternity between Baby One More Time and Oops, I Did It Again coming out?
Oh, yeah.
It felt like an eternity. It was a year.
Barely.
Like a year, like maybe a year and 3 months.
Right.
Something like that. Because Baby One More Time, the album came out in January of 99. And I think Oops, I Did It Again came out May of 2000.
They also released a lot of singles from Baby One More Time.
Yeah. Yeah. They released 4 stateside and then 1 overseas. Yeah. And so, but damn, like
4 singles in a year is a lot from an album. In 1 year, that's a lot.
That is.
Yeah.
It's really.
And what's crazy is that it's right, but it's like 1 year later, and like what a very different Britney we got from album 1 to album 2. 1 year.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like it was similar in the Max Martin-ness of it all, but like she went from being like really sort of childish, I feel like, in the Baby One More Time to all of a sudden like she figured out what her nipples are, and like Baby in the Oops, I Did It Again.
She said, "Oops, my nipples are here." Do you remember what the original album title was it for this album? I want to say there was another album title that she wanted to call it. And I think that she even mentioned it on TRL. That's how I know this. I watched TRL religiously as a kid.
Right.
And she wanted to call the album Shock Your Mind. Yeah.
That would have been very interesting.
Right? Yeah. Britney, I think, had a lot of they really like squashed her creativity.
I'm sure.
Yeah. But she had a lot of ideas for her music. And so, yeah, I'm very curious to know what Shock Your Mind would have sounded like. Yeah.
Reminds me of Debbie Gibson's Shock Your Mama.
Oh, she heard that and she said, I'll do one up.
I see. Bet.
Yeah. Yep. She got
it. I will never forget buying the Debbie Gibson album, and the sticker on the front of the album for the Body, Mind, Soul album was a clip of the review from Rolling Stone, and it said, what Debbie does on Shock Your Mama, which was like the lead single, Madonna only talks about on Erotica.
Oh my God.
It was like so like, and I was like, I don't know if this album is that racy. Like there's moments in here and like she talks about some deep stuff, but like I was like, what a crazy comparison to put Debbie up against Madonna at this point in their careers in like 1995.
Right, yeah.
So wild.
That is wild. It's funny kind of going back to erotica. Like, I mean, erotica is one of my favorite Madonna albums, but like comparatively to what pop music is now, I mean, it's so tame.
Wait, I feel like if we're gonna, so I got to pull all this stuff up now because we talked about it earlier. If we're gonna get into this Madonna discussion,
Pull it up,
I
pull it
mean,
up. I mean, come on.
So well, first of all, let's talk about the anniversary. Is
Ray of Light,
the iconic?
the
I mean,
my favorite album of all time.
but it's
And
what could you possibly say about this album that hasn't been said? Because I've been thinking about that all day, like about what I would say about this album. Aside from it happening at such a pivotal moment in my life personally,
yeah,
the effect that it had on the music industry, the effect that it had on pop music, like the effect that it had on dance music, it it's so crazy how she was able to pull all of these things into one body of work.
one body of work that is so cohesive yet different, that is so of the time yet sounds so fresh today.
Mm-hmm.
It does not sound like anything really out there.
Right.
What blows my mind, I mean, I'm not throwing shade at Confessions on a Dance Floor. We all know I love it. But this album to me should get the recognition that Confessions on a Dance Floor gets.
I agree.
It is just so I don't know how to even start. Like I mean, the songwriting is next level.
Beyond.
The lyrics are insane. I mean,
the orchestrations,
the production, the layers, the textures. What does William Orbit say in Ultrasound? He's like, bubbles, bits, crunch, right. Bites.
I laughed so hard when you use the Ana Navarro clip. And just the power that has, the influence that has, the international acclaim that has. I laughed every time, and I was like, this is such a good use of that.
And for those that don't know what he's talking about, is I made a meme about me talking about the ray of light symbol, which is like basically a line in between two parentheses. And but like I drew that on everything as a kid.
Well, this is the Illuminati and we are members.
Like literally, I was like, I am so mystical. Right. And like, I'm not even kidding.
There is some F slur out there that has that as like a tattooed tramp stamp.
Oh, you know it. It's me. I'm just kidding. Right. I'm like, I'm never going to get a tattoo, but now I'm like, oh, maybe I will. Maybe. Oh my God. No, I'm not kidding you though. Like this album, I mean, name another pop star that sings in Sanskrit.
None that I know.
None that I know either.
None that I know.
Like, let's go, girls.
Right. And even, I mean, okay, so even if you just look at it, like I just pulled it up on my Spotify account.
Yeah.
Frozen alone has 95 million streams.
Iconic.
Should be more. Right. Should be more, but just Frozen alone.
Yeah.
And it's like, that is just the amount of people who have listened to it on streaming. This is still before a time when streaming was a huge thing. Yeah. I can't tell you what it was like. And I feel like this is perhaps the nuance that gets lost in the before digital to now digital era.
Yeah.
How big or how much of a big deal it was to have an album with such critical acclaim, do numbers, and reach literally global, like just the peak of global stardom.
Yeah. And was at the time, wasn't this her highest selling album, like first week sales? I want to say it was like 400 some thousand copies or something like that, or 300 some thousand copies, which I know just a lot of people doesn't sound like a lot, but at that time was a lot.
At that time was a very, very big deal. So it's like to see something have done all of that. And then even now in the digital age still, and again, while I feel like some of these songs could be streamed higher, still have that much of an audience,
right,
is crazy to me.
Yeah.
Because there is not one song on this album on Spotify alone that is not in the millions of streams. You know?
Because she's the goddess.
Right. Like Frozen's got 95. Like a Drowned World has 12 million streams.
Love.
Like, right. Like that's crazy to me. Like I wouldn't think that. Like Ray of Light, of course, 60 million streams. But like Skin and Swim were always the two for me.
Yes.
I love all of it. I love everything else. We got so much good brunette Madonna in this era,
Oh
which I
my
love.
God. Yes. Which there's been a lot of discourse on Twitter lately about like Gaga copy. First of all, we need to stop with this comparison.
Stop.
It's so annoying at this point.
Right.
Like I truly like anytime I see someone bring up Lady Gaga copying Madonna or Madonna copying Lady Gaga, shut the fuck up. You're so fucking annoying.
Right. It's just the most intellectually lazy argument that you could make.
So lazy. And I'm just kind of like, it's dance music, it's pop music, like it's going to be sounding similar. They work in the same industry. Like
Right.
it's their stylists work for
But
we could go down a
they
rabbit
have
hole
similar
anyway.
influences. It's like
Yeah.
there's so many. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like anyway, we don't want to ruin a good moment with this.
Right.
Where was I going with this? Oh, the brunette Madonna, but like the whole like gothic, like she did, was it the VH1 Fashion Awards where
Yes.
she wore like 3 or 4 different gowns that were just stunning. She was in her Hindu bag.
Yes. Yes. She was. She had all the stuff on the hands, and
Sh-
yeah.
She was also in her geisha bag with the,
Again,
she
that
said,
wig,
"Oh my
phenomenal.
God,
Nothing really matters. That wig
that
is phenomenal.
that was a wig."
I don't know if that's her hair. I would be surprised if that's her hair.
I thought it was her hair.
I don't know.
I thought
Don't quote me, but I don't know.
I could have. I mean, you could be right. A lot of the times we think that it's these artists' hair, and it's
Like
a wig.
Power of Goodbye, that feels like that's her hair.
Right? Yeah.
That video, I'm
feels
like, that's her hair. That's definitely her hair. I don't
yeah.
know if this is just her hair with like
I don't know.
a completely flat iron within an inch of its life
Right, literally, like
Right.
absolutely no flyaways, and if you
At
you
all.
fly away, you're done.
Right. Just pluck it out.
Yeah,
Just pull
pluck
it
it
out.
out.
Right.
Because she had the same hair on the Larry King interview with
Right.
that leather jacket that kept making sound.
Right. It's so great.
But no, I mean, it hurts. It hurts that Skin was allegedly going to be the final single from the album.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen a music video for it. I mean,
They commissioned remixes.
they did. There's
They did
the collaboration remix with Peter Rauhofer and Victor Calderon.
Yep.
I don't know if there's any others that have seen the light of day. I would have loved to have heard them.
I don't think for Swim. I think Peter might have done a few others that he would play privately, but nothing that was ever supposed to be out.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm like
yeah.
looking for the album. I think So there was a store in the city called Rebel Rebel. It was a record store, and when I tell you this was like your quintessential record store, there was music packed into this tiny space in every corner, and it was imports and bootlegs and picture discs and just anything you could possibly want. It just the guy that ran it, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but if you're in New York City in this era in like the 90s 2000s, Rebel really was amazing in the West Village. Anyway, they used to have these CDs, and I don't know who made them, but they would sell them there, and they were called Veronica Electronica, and it was all of these sort of either bootleg or music that was ripped from other things that were like, they would do like themes. It would be like, Veronica Electronica Volume 1, and it would be like all stuff from Ray of Light. Then it would be other things where it was like all stuff from Erotica. Some of them were bootlegs, some of them were not, commission remixes. But in this era, I bought like 3 of them, and I was beyond obsessed. Like,
oh my God,
that's what makes me think of when I think of Ray of Light.
Yeah, and I have to say, like, she mentioned in the making of the music of the Frozen music video that Veronica Electronica was going to be the name of the remix record,
right?
And it never materialized, and which probably for various reasons. Probably, I think part of it had to do with, I think that unfortunately Nothing Really Matters flopped as a single, which is crazy because it's one of her best.
And when she opened the celebration tour with that, I almost fainted on the spot. I was not expecting that at all.
Yeah, she was like, I'm gonna give the fans what they want.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna give the fags what they want.
literally, like, and that remix that Stewart did for it, like, oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Skin was supposed to be the sixth single, but I think that, with Nothing Really Matters kind of underperforming, they moved on to Beautiful Stranger, and then after that was The Next Best Thing, and then
Right.
yada yada yada. So they just kind of moved on from the project. But I would have loved to have heard like what William Orbit had up his sleeve for the Odyssey, because she called it the Odyssey record.
Right.
So Veronica Electronica, quote unquote, Odyssey record. And so I would have loved to have heard remixes for like Candy Perfume Girl
Ugh.
and
And like
Skin, and yeah.
Junior did his own remix of Power of Goodbye that he used to play all the time at
Oh, did he?
oh yeah. It wasn't like an official like anything, but he had one that he was very famously playing at like Twilo and like all these other places in this era.
Oh my God. Now that you say that, thank God for file sharing services. I
Oh
remember
yeah.
seeing it on those services. I don't know if I ever downloaded it,
Oh, I gotta
but
look. I have it somewhere.
oh my gosh, you're gonna have to send that to me.
I know. I will. I
Cause yeah,
will.
because I have to say, out of all the remix packages from the album, I want to say the Power of Goodbye was probably my least favorite of the
Oh, for sure.
bunch, just because
It's a very difficult song to remix.
difficult song to remix. Dallas Austin did a remix for it, who worked on the Bedtime Story album, and has worked with TLC, blah blah blah.
Right.
But then there were a couple club remixes that were just really aggressive for
Right, and that's even for juniors. Like it's the problem is like the BPM that she's singing in the original doesn't really translate very well for dance music,
yeah,
and it just makes her sound really chipmunky when they speed up her vocals, and it's not
right,
like
yeah.
it's just not one of my favorites from Junior by any means.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I mean, the rest of the remix packages were phenomenal. I mean,
stacked.
stacked. I mean, we got this is my introduction to Victor Calderon.
Nothing will beat the Sky Fits Heaven remix. It's unbelievable still to this day to me.
To this day, fuck it.
Right.
When they put the Drown World remix EP on streaming,
Oh,
let me tell you what, it was one of the happiest days of my life, because not only did we get the Victor Calderon remix, but we got the Sasha remixes. We
also
got
amazing.
the BT and Sasha remix for Drown World. Like,
Mhm.
but that remix in particular, so good.
That remix, he has another remix for a group called Mandalay Beautiful. That remix and his remix of Garbage's Push It. Those three are all in the same
Yes.
world to me.
I love that.
There's like a bunch from that time. I mean, obviously Frozen too, but it
Yeah.
specifically there was like a sound that he had for a little bit, and it was just like those three mixes. I feel like exemplify them the most.
Yeah. Is that your favorite remix from the era?
The oh yeah, Sky Fits Heaven for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, I used to hear that all the time at Roxy, and it
Yeah.
was just incredible. I love it. It's just one of my favorite songs on the album.
It's so good.
It's so good.
It's so good. And I love that this was during a time too where, I mean, Sky Fits Heaven wasn't a single, but they commissioned remixes for it and used them as the B-side to Drowned World, which
Yeah.
was released as a single in the UK and I think other parts of Europe.
Hmm.
I just love that. I don't know. There's just something magical about that time period, and I can't put my finger on it. The single art I was obsessed with.
And you know what? And it's funny that we're talking about it now, and I'm going to put my finger on it because I was thinking about this the other day, and I actually want to say this here because I need to have a space to say it that's long enough, and I think this is the place.
Put your finger on it. Okay, go.
So one of the things that I realized, so this past Friday, Nelly Furtado dropped a new remix of "Say It Right."
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh my
Yes.
God. Okay.
So it's by Deborah DeLuca, which if you are not familiar with her, she's an I would say up and coming techno DJ. She's great, very
Cool.
very good in her field. It's always very like hard, fast, whatever. She had a remix that she did of Robert Miles' Children recently that I really liked as well.
Okay.
And the remix is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not bad. It will do very very well, I'm sure, on Peloton once we get it.
Yeah.
But what I realized in that moment while I was listening to, because it's like 140 beats per minute, it's very like driving hard techno, and it's very what she does in her sets. What I realized while I was listening to it was that back in the day, and I don't want to sound like an old man, but it's just to observe the difference, is that back in the day you had record labels that were commissioning remixes that were going to hit various genres for various audiences, because
Right.
they realized that these remixes would have to appeal to a global audience. And so
Right.
you would get, like, here in the States, it was like Junior and Victor and Peter and like all of the guys that were doing really big stuff here in New York and whatever. And then they would do other ones. There would be like an R&B remix. Maybe there's a hip hop version, maybe a drum and bass, whatever. Like, excuse me. So it was a suite of remixes that they would put out, and it was just like, okay, we feel good about this. It's going to hit all the people that it needs to be hit. Now,
Mm-hmm.
since we've shifted from in DJ and dance music culture from going to the party and it being about the party, like, yes, you're there to hear a DJ. You want to hear Junior, and he's going to play all night long and whatever. But you're going there because the party's going to be amazing, the music's going to be amazing, whatever. But you're not staring at him the whole time. He's not on stage. It's not about him. His name isn't flashing all over the place. Like, it's this whole environment. And now, since the DJs are the superstars, they're putting out a remix here and there that works for that DJ in her set, and that's it. Because if you're like a regular average DJ in any town in America that isn't playing a festival, that isn't playing a huge room, and this brand new remix, which, to be honest, Say It Right needs new remixes, because the ones that they did do when the song first came out are a little bit dated. I love Peter to
Yeah.
death. They're fine,
Yeah.
but they're very of the moment. A new
Right.
version that would be amazing, like what they did with the new Waiting for Tonight that they
Mm-hmm.
just put at the Pesto, I think it was recently. It's
Yeah.
cute
Yep.
and it's very of the moment, and it updated the song and it made it very easy to play for your average DJ.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's what I feel like is happening now, is that the label is putting out things because they think the DJ's name will carry it enough. And I'm like, you're not doing service to the song.
Right.
And it's like,
Yeah.
and it's not great for DJs at large, because I'm like, now I've got this 140. I do not get to 140 beats per minute in my sets
It's
when I play.
fast. I
It's
was to
really
say
fast.
that's really, really fast.
Right. It's what
And
on Peloton, it's going to be great. People are going to love it. It's going to
yeah.
do so well. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's where I feel like the shift has happened, and I feel like that's why when we talk about this, or how you feel about this stuff, this is the part of the reason why this is happening.
Yeah. And I remember you mentioning this before on another episode about how, like promo only remixes are
Right.
commissioned for the clubs. And because I think I had asked you once, I was like, it just doesn't make sense that a label would commission a remix to not put it out, right? Because capitalism, right? You would
Right.
think
Right.
that if they're going to commission money to, have a DJ or a remix or a producer make something, they would want a return on that investment. But the return on investment that you pointed out was the DJs would play it in the clubs. People would be like, "What song is this?" And then they
Right.
would go out and buy the single and or the album, and not necessarily care about the remix being on it. I mean, maybe they would. I would care, but
Right.
like,
Right.
the it was more to put, as you mentioned, like putting these songs out to different
Awareness.
audience, awareness
Right.
out to different audiences. And yeah, I miss that. I miss getting a plethora of different styles of remixes. I mix. I miss, like, getting different versions of it,
Right.
right? Like you get the extended version, radio edit, the dub, whatever.
Well,
Um
it's funny. My Jess from Peloton, Jess King, she texted me today, and she was like, is Calvin Harris and Ellie Goulding's "Miracle" the most remixed song of all time? And I was like,
right.
I said, of all time, literally of all time. I was like, there's something like 17 remixes for it on Spotify or something
Yeah.
insane like that.
And I love that.
And I love that. And it
Yeah.
seems ridiculous, but when you're going through and it's like, if there's enough of a, I love it when there's a broad range of producers, I should say. Don't give
Yes.
me 7 of the same tech house track.
Right.
Like, give me a range. And I love that. And so she was like, this is so great. She's like, I'm just seeing all of these remixes. She's like, I could literally put a different one into my next 16 classes and be totally fine.
Exactly.
Right.
That's the point.
And
Like
that, right.
it's like
Right.
that's the whole point, because there's a lot of people who hate remixes.
Yeah.
And I get it. Like maybe not every remix is for you, but the whole point is that the remixes were supposed to cater to different audiences, different clubs, different vibes, different parties.
Right.
And so that you had a flavor for kind of everyone. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's just something, and there's something about the quality. There is a, oh, how do I feel like my brain is just like malfunctioning right now, but there is a quality, something about the Ray of Light remixes at the project at large that are just high level.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she got some of the biggest DJs in the world, the biggest producers in the world. I mean, the Drown World BT Sasha, the Buckalage Ashram remix
Right.
has a chokehold on me currently.
So good.
It's so good. It's so like you could put this. I mean, it just again it aged so well.
Right.
It aged beautifully. I mean, BT, I love BT. BT, if you ever hear this, I would love to have you on this
Oh my
show.
God. Friend of the pod, BT.
Friend of the pod, BT. Like that would be insane. That
Yeah.
would be. I would probably pee.
Oh, I have so many questions for him.
I do too.
Right.
But I mean, that is such a stunning remix. The Sky Fits Heaven remixes, as you mentioned, Sasha's remixes for Ray of Light,
Oh,
both the Twilo and the Ultraviolet.
I could not believe that was the version I got to see her perform during Celebration.
Oh my God.
I was so not prepared for that when it started. I was like, you're kidding me, right? I was like, the Sasha remix? Oh my God.
And the way that that Stewart was able to sieg it from I mean, if you I'm like losing my words because I'm so excited. Like, you want to excite me? Give me a really fucking good transition.
Oh yeah.
None of these transitions on TikTok where you just do don't get me wrong, a crossfade can be cute
Right.
and can work really well.
Right.
But I want something that's very intentional and very into the anyone listening, go to my Instagram, click on my mixes. I used to do like quote unquote DJ for my friend Mary's classes. I was known for my transitions. I know what I'm talking about. And the way that they went from basically album version Bedtime Story into Junior's Sound Factory mix and then into Sasha's Ultraviolet mix of Ray of Light.
Right.
I don't think I've ever had as many orgasms as I did than when I saw that live.
Right.
Like, that was insane.
Insane.
No,
she really delivered.
She really did.
Yeah.
And I mean, then Nothing Really Matters remixes by Peter Rojo for Club 69.
But even the Kruder and Dorfmeister ones, which
yes!
I didn't appreciate, I don't think, as when they came out, because I was like 18 years old. Yep. And I was like, what exactly is this? And where would I ever play this?
Yeah.
And it just seems so like bizarre to me. But I ended up using it like during the pandemic in like a mix that I had made, like a 3-hour long mix of just like down tempo stuff. And it is so beautiful.
It's beautiful. When I start, so since I'm like working out in the mornings now, a lot of times what I do is if I get to the gym, depending on how I'm feeling, like if I'm feeling really tired, sometimes what I'll do is I'll like maybe like sit in the sauna for 5 minutes to just kind of like warm up and just kind of get into the like headspace. And I will put that remix on because
so nice.
It's meditative. It's great. It's so good. And that's a great mix to put on while you're cleaning. It's a great mix to put
yes.
Yeah.
If you need to hear, they also did a remix of what the hell's the name of the song? Depeche Mode. It's
really?
so good. Wait, Depeche Mode. I'm sorry, I'm looking it up right now. Kruder and Dorfmeister. That I can even remember how to spell that is ridiculous.
Right. I love that.
What is it? Useless.
Listeners are like, who the hell is Kruder and Dorfmeister?
Useless. They have a song called Useless that Kruder and Dorfmeister did a remix of. It's very along the same lines. You would love it.
Okay. I love that. I'm gonna Is it on streaming?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Perfect. Okay. I will
say, and shout out to Depeche Mode, because I know that they're not ones that people think about or talk about, but not only do they commission phenomenal remixes still to this day of music that they're doing, they've put one out recently. I think it was Oliver Heldens. That was phenomenal. They are so good at putting all of their catalog up online. Everything, all their remixes are available. They're great.
Love.
But they really do like that. And if you People Are Good, that was the name of the song. It just came out last year, and they had a whole 2 sets of remixes. I want to say they had one with Analia, Chris Avantgarde, Boris Brett, like the really like current guys. And so
love that.
A little bit of love for Depeche Mode.
Love that. That's one thing that I want. I would love. I mean, she's starting to do it. Madonna. I mean, she's announced that there's going to be an Bedtime Stories 30th anniversary coming out this year, which I'm excited. Allegedly demos, which Girl, you know what that means. Right. We might be finally hearing Shep's version of Secret.
It would be crazy.
So for people that are like, what the fuck are they talking about? Madonna's Bedtime Story album was initially the production started with Shep Pettibone. Shep Pettibone is a famous house DJ that she worked with on Vogue. I think that was their first song that they collaborated on that was not a remix, right?
Yes, correct.
And then he produced the Erotica album. I mean, he was the go-to DJ in the late 80s, early 90s for like any sort of remix. I think
he is the man that pioneered the machine gun type snare roll leading up to the beat drop.
Yes.
Putting the all of that stuff. That he's the guy that put that together.
And so if you're wondering what that is, just listen to the song Vogue and you'll hear what we're talking about, or listen to Yes and. I mean, Yes and it uses that same style as well, by Ariana Grande. But when Madonna started recording the Bedtime Stories album, the music industry shifted a lot and was very much more into the R&B hip hop phase. And so she decided to go down that route, and the work that Shep Pettibone did for the album did not make it onto the album.
Right.
But allegedly he did a version of Secret. And that's why I believe in early pressings of the album, he did not have a writing credit, but I believe he now does get a writing credit on Secret still.
Oh, work. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so, and I think that this first came out with GVH2, or GHV2, excuse me. Greatest Hits Volume 2 for those. We are so like niche right now. Like this, I'm like living right now. We've probably lost every listener. They're like, what the hell? No, I'm just kidding. But I believe that that's where the writing credit first started appearing, was for that.
Interesting.
And so I'm very curious to hear how it sounded and like what it was like. Yeah, I'm excited. But I would love Madonna to do more anniversary releases. I would love an anniversary release for Ray of Light. And I'm assuming that we probably wouldn't get it until its 30th.
Yeah.
But
I want one for Erotica too.
I want one for Erotica. Yeah.
So for anybody who doesn't know me or doesn't know anything about me, so I worked for Shep Pettibone for 5 years before I started working at Peloton. He was the owner of the club that I worked at, and I was their resident DJ every weekend. And at some point in the course of our relationship, I also turned into his hairdresser, and I was going to his house every 2 weeks and getting his hair.
I love that. I love that so much. Yeah.
Right. And I'm just like sitting there asking him, says, tell me more about Madonna. You know, tell me what's Cyndi Lauper really like? You know, like, like this crazy shit. And while they're not my stories to tell, I'm not going to tell them. He is still of this earth, and I will not, whatever, anything that he said to me in confidence. But I will just say there is, I believe, more than what even the public and the serious Madonna fans know about things that have not been released, and even things that Shep has.
Wow. Oh my gosh. I'm sure. I mean, like the famous Rain tapes is like, I think what they call them, right? Which is like a bunch of demos of erotica, of different versions of songs that, I mean, some of it has leaked online and onto YouTube and stuff. But I mean, there was a song allegedly called Jitterbug. There was a song. I mean, erotica was very different originally. Yeah. My God, the lore.
The lore.
I wonder if she's even aware of like all the stuff.
I don't even know, because it's like the way that they would work was so different back then versus what they do now. And it's like, I used to get mad at Shep all the time because, even the 30th anniversary of Vogue was coming up while I was still working with him. And I'm like, I was like, you can do remixes, you can do anything, like a new version from you would be so cool. Like, and I used to like try to push and poke him, but
yeah,
she's a grumpy old lady. So it's like, sometimes, she didn't want to hear me, but
Shep, does he still produce?
No, at least not that I'm aware of.
Oh my God. That would have been insane to get a new Shep Pettibone remix of Vogue for his 30th anniversary.
I always say he's got an apartment here in New York City that he never ever went to, at least at that time when I knew him. And I'm like, girl, you got all the good stuff there. I was like, let's go. I was like, come on, I'll go with you. I was like, I'll help you. Like, just come on, let's go see.
Come on, Shep, what the fuck?
I know.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, we could go down this rabbit hole for hours.
For sure.
But I do think it's time that we do our famous segment, Songs We Don't Talk About Enough. This is the segment where we talk about a deep cut, a rare album track. Maybe it's the song Jitterbug from the Rain tapes. But we like to give these songs a highlight because, you know what? No shade to the singles. We love the singles.
Absolutely.
But there are plenty of other songs that we can talk about enough.
Well, and I'm gonna, like I said, I said I was gonna do this, so I'm gonna go back to Miss Melanie C.
Give it to me.
From the album, the 2011 album, The Sea. The song, I think it was the lead single, "Weak." It
Ooh.
is. I mean, the album in general has a very sort of like melancholy, like undertone about it
Yeah.
in many, many different places. Because there's another. I have to pull up that. I had now seen it. I haven't heard it in so long. Week was amazing, and Burn and Drown was the other one. They're all amazing deep cuts,
Mm.
but Week was the single, and it's, I don't know, it felt like such a different progression from the albums that had just happened. Like Northern Star happened, The Reason happened, Beautiful Intentions happened, and then
Yeah.
this. I feel like this was the transition from her out of that sort of pop rock into more like pop leaning dance. Because think about
Love
it,
that.
yeah, Think About It was also from this album, but the album in general is phenomenal. I would recommend it to anybody.
I
But
love that.
Week is so incredible. Lyrically, it's fantastic. Like you could tell she's definitely been through some shit on this album, but it's
Yeah.
phenomenal.
I love her.
I do. I really, really do love her, and
I
she
would
looks
love.
happy, and I'm happy for her.
She looks really happy. I mean, she looks great. I
Yeah,
mean, talk about a fitness queen. Jeez, like I want to look that good at 50.
I
I want to look that
mean,
good right now.
right,
Like
right.
she
Oh,
looks
and
amazing.
this song "Weak" also. Obviously, Mel C is one of the songwriters, but co-written with Ina Rolson, who wrote "Padam Padam."
And let's celebrate that. Like
Right.
that is amazing.
Right.
Wow, that's
Right.
incredible. So we
Yeah.
have Mel C to thank for Padam Padam, is what you're saying.
I'm just saying that it's like 2 degrees away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Where's the Melanie C remix of Padam Padam?
Where's Kylie Minogue thanking Melanie C? No.
Exactly. Incredible. Well, I'm going to go back to Max Martin.
Mm-hmm.
And I had mentioned earlier that Max Martin has a bunch of deeps cuts that, 78 top 10 singles is nothing to bat an eye at. But he also has a lot of songs, album tracks, things like that just, either didn't get a release as a single or he also has had some flops. But there was a song that he did not produce it, but he co-wrote it that not many people know. Cyndi Lauper's Into the Nightlife.
Oh,
Which,
I love it so much.
So much. It's a random co-write. Like it makes me wonder. I'm like, how the hell did this even happen?
Right.
But this song came out, what was this, like 2009, 2010-ish?
Oh, yeah, because they actually filmed the video at Splash Bar in New York City, which I used to go to all the time, and it was so ridiculous.
I love that. Yeah. Gay bar, like this was for Cindy's dance album, which was called the album was
Bring
called
It to the Brink.
Bring It to the Brink. And I was going to say same old fucking story was the single.
I love that song too.
Lead single from the album. But yeah, I mean, great dance pop track. I forget who produced it. I want to say it was a Swedish guy.
It is. It's one of the other co-writers, William Pierre Astrom, and Cyndi Lauper.
Okay, that tracks.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, phenomenal dance pop song. I mean, I would love to hear some more dance music from Cyndi. I mean, she's incredible.
And even like the other one from that album, Echo.
So I don't know the album very well. So I just know Into the Nightlife.
Oh, you need to go down this rabbit hole.
Okay. I think I'm ready.
Yeah.
I think I'm ready.
Echo is another really, really great one.
Okay. Excellent.
And she has a song on there called Rain on Me. I'm just saying, Ariana and Gaga, we see you.
Oh, we see you.
We see you stealing everyone's
saying
Lauper.
that. I was gonna say everyone's saying that she's stealing from Madonna, but looks like it's really Ms. Lauper.
Just saying, they arrested Bobby Brown for fucking on stage.
Stop it right now. They arrested Bobby Brown for fucking on stage.
I hope he's in jail when I get there.
Oh my God, I am not kidding you. I've been trying to think for ages how to use that in a meme.
Because it was the same cadence of what you just said. Like it just had the same thing, and that's what it made me think of.
They arrested Bobby Brown for fucking on stage. Mm-hmm. They arrested Bobby Brown for fucking on stage. Oh my God, Nikki Harris. Nikki Harris is from my hometown.
Nikki Harris, friend of the pod.
Friend of the pod.
I'm just gonna keep saying she is. Have you ever seen the movie Noises Off? This is the most random thing ever. Okay, so
never heard it.
It's a movie from the 90s. I want to say like late 90s. It's a super ensemble cast. It's like John Ritter, Marilu Henner, Christopher Reeve, Carol Burnett, Michael Caine, Nicolette Sheridan.
Oh my God.
It's like the Mark Lynn Baker. It's the most insane cast. It was a Broadway show that they turned into a movie, and then it's been like a Broadway show again, whatever. But the intro of the movie, is a song called The Broadway Melody, sung by Nikki Harris. And
incredible.
It's phenomenal. Her version of this song is the best version of this song I've ever heard. So Nikki, some real weird deep lore there, but so good. And for anybody who's listening, if you have not heard yet, Nikki and Donna got together with Miss DJ Tracy Young recently and did a version of Last Night a DJ Saved My Life, and it's wonderful.
Very good. Yes, very good. You're the one that sent that to me, so thank you for highlighting that. Yeah, so good. Very good. Wow, we covered a shitload of ground on this episode. Random, but that's how we like to keep it. That's how we want to do these things. I want to end this episode really quick, and I just want to say a shout out to my friend Megan, colleague, my friend and colleague. She has been so supportive of this show. Every time we release an episode, she will go on and on about how much she loves it, how she's proud of me.
I love that.
It's literally so sincere, so genuine. It almost brings me to tears every time. So Megan, if you are listening, which I know you will be, I just want to say thank you, because it is so sweet, because she recognizes the amount of work that we do putting into this. So yeah, I just want to say that,
Megan, we love you.
Really appreciate it. Yes. And we didn't get into it on this episode, but we will be looking at the comments of Madonna's worst song in a future episode. And
okay, that's how we have to start the next one.
That's how we have to start the next one. We have notes. But until next time, everyone, have a great day.
Bye.
Night. Bye.